The Celtic Mind is back. 23-24 season. The host, Nuno 7, with guests such as Ben, Dom, Neil, Lewis, and more. Please subscribe and like, and welcome back to the Celtic Mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Celtic Mind episode 68. Lewis on today. We're here obviously to discuss in more detail. You saw the post-match which went out last night. So we're going to talk more detail about that. Also, we're going to talk about just the kind of season in general, what we've had. And then obviously we've got a new halftime pie, which I was saying to Lewis before we came on, which I'll discuss when we get to it. And obviously we're going to be talking about transfers. Kieran Tierney will be back as well, of course. Twitter questions and the usual quiz as well. Lewis, how do you feel? Obviously, it was right after the match. Obviously, I got back and we discussed it. So how do you feel now over a couple of days? It's settling in now. What does it feel to miss out on that treble?
I mean, it was obviously a very disappointing match. You could see the lack of effort being put in.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything else to say that we didn't already say before.
I think more as I look back on it, Lewis, I think, it just shows how special. I'm not putting in against what the way we performed on Saturday, but I'm putting towards the point is how special a treble is to win. It's not easy as it looks. Celtic have made it look, and under Rodgers the first time, and then Ange won it as well. It was just how good we were playing, and we just couldn't go that final mark on Saturday. That doesn't excuse how we performed because it was dreadful. We'll go into more detail, Lewis, because I think obviously I looked on social media after the game and then also after we did the video, and I thought I was maybe a bit wild about the comments I was putting on the video, but you look on Twitter and such. I know you don't have Twitter, so you just look on general. But some of the outrageous, people are wanting Rodgers out. I understand the frustration of not winning it, right? But surely, you've won a double again. You've won the league, which is the most important thing every season. You know what I mean? Obviously, I know every season you want to win every trophy, which is obviously, but I don't know. When you go, Lewis.
I don't think I can really say anything about the Rodgers out. People considering I did say I wouldn't mind him leaving. I'm not saying he should leave. All I'm saying is it's not the end if he does.
I mean, it's true, but I'm hoping he'll get back in the summer. Rodgers will talk about transferring back and stuff, but he'll got back
on a 5-year contract.
Bring him back.
He's actually playing in Saudi Arabia, actually, so we could not afford him.
Oh Jesus! No, I don't want him back. But we'll talk about somebody who's getting. Apparently, we're talking about signing on a permanent deal, which is interesting. But Saturday, Lewis. We got the goal in the first half. It was such a delayed reaction. I think it went in by Carter Vickers. It was given as Carter Vickers' time. I think it went as an own goal. I think, but
it went down as an own goal.
Aye, okay. Yeah. Aye. It was such a delayed reaction. I didn't know it went in. To be honest, it was such a delayed reaction. And then we went in half time thinking, you know what, we'll go to the second half. We'll put it to bed because Aberdeen, to be quite honest, and a lot of people saying this, they didn't look like they were going to score. They genuinely didn't look like they were going to score. They were slightly, they were pressing us, but we looked like we were dealing with in the first half, which I was quite.
Yeah, they were just a bit off the mark.
Yep. Second half, I mean, we hit the bar. Taylor had a shot at fair play to him. Slop had a shot in extra time we'll talk about. But, the more I look back at that goal, Lewis, Kasper Schmeichel, I mean, it's bad. It is bad. I think it's actually a cross or something. I don't even think it's a shot. He parries it into his own net. I mean, and then we just shoot ourselves in the foot. We look at the last, I think it was 17 minutes in total because we were 7 minutes added on at the end of the game, Lewis. So from 83 minutes till the whole game was finished at full time before extra time, we hit the bar. Maeda in the 90th minute, the 92nd minute or something. I
think one major thing to take away from the whole match is that I think that might generally be the first mistake memorable mistake Schmeichel's made all season.
Yeah, I don't get the point of people saying Kasper Schmeichel shouldn't be playing for Celtic. I mean, come on, really, come on. You know,
I mean, he's 38 or something.
he
So
signed that.
it's
He
not
signed
exactly
that.
a young guy ready to make his top 5 debut.
You know, he's a quality keeper, and I'm sure he will make
Yeah.
fantastic saves next season when we go again. That's what the hope. I mean, it is disappointing we don't win the treble, but we've won the league. We've won the League Cup. And a double's hard, Lewis. Never mind just winning the league. That's hard
Yeah, I
enough.
think the expectation to always win something comes during a period of more success than pretty much any football club will ever see.
Oh, when you look back on it, when you see the picture, Lewis, when you see the stats of how dominant we have been over the last decade, how lucky we have been as Celtic fans to witness, trebles, doubles,
Yeah, and the thing is, we could have been in the exact position Rangers are in now if it wasn't for certain owners or board decisions.
Yeah, we've been so lucky in that department, Lewis. But back to the game, extra time, Lewis. We were pressing, right, but we looked ran out of ideas. We looked at the team that I don't know. We just looked done.
We looked as if we were the one having to fight our hardest to win a trophy.
Yeah, we looked. I don't know. We just looked dead. I don't know. I mean, the fact that Jeffrey Slop had a shot, and I was like, oh no, he actually hit the bar. To be fair, it was a decent chance, but I mean, it went. I could tell the way it was going was it was going to the two centre halves, Vickers and Scales, and then it went out wide. Nobody had a clue what to do with it. Went back over, and Aberdeen, as I said on Saturday on the video, Aberdeen knew exactly what we were going to do because we didn't. There was no spark. There was no magic, and people were saying after that Bayern Munich game in Munich, I don't know what happened to us. I really don't, and I still don't. I mean, I know we played out our skin, and I get the next couple of games. Do you know what I mean? I'd get it, Lewis.
Yeah.
And we did drop form, but we picked up, we won the league. But you think, I just don't. I mean, you can't take anything away from the players. Also, what we've done this season because it's been phenomenal, right? It was just I felt just disappointed in the way we played in the extra time and the penalties as well. You can't take away from people in the stands on Saturday, Lewis, were like, Casper Smith should be saving them penalties. I mean,
Aberdeen had some great penalties.
Top drawer. But
every time they would either skied it or placed it perfectly, and they placed it perfectly.
But the thing is, Lewis, I'm not putting McGregor because McGregor's been an outstanding. He's been he's in our lifetime, Lewis. In our lifetime, he's been the most successful captain. All right, we've had Scott Brown, but overall,
to be fair, in our lifetimes, there's pretty much memorably there's been Scott Brown purely due to how long he played.
It's probably Cal now, because obviously we were now. But anyway, I hate. I mean, why are we even saying Cal McGregor should be stripped of the captain of the armband? We weren't, if Scott Brown didn't win something or he missed a penalty or whatever. I mean, come on, really?
Yeah, I feel as if it's a bit reactionary to immediately a player makes one mistake and it's like, should never play for this club again. Get rid of him.
He's one of the most important players in the team, and it's without a doubt you see it when he comes out of the team.
I think next season Dundee United obviously they've been great this season, but they've confirmed that they're letting go of their captain, and I think they'll really struggle because of that.
That's what that's what I don't get people saying, "Oh my gosh, he's so vocal in his own way. He's not a Scott Brown. He's not he's took advice obviously, but he's not a Scott Brown. He's different. Just the way he's so important to the team. But
I'd put him on Scott Brown as like a motivator a bit. He could get the players running, but Cal McGregor, he can
he can run as well.
Play with the team rather than for the team.
Yeah. And I know on also unfortunate in extra time, Forrest came on and he came off injured. But you can see injury wise as well, Lewis, Jota been injured for so long now. I mean, I have to talk about this before we talk about the penalty a second. Rodgers' substitutions. That it was a death wish. Taking Adam Ida, Nicholas Kuhn and Engels off in the 60th minute. I said on Saturday, Lewis, he was too, cheeky with it. He thought, we'll just win it anyway. That's what it looked like. And it backfired on him because, we had nothing, absolutely nothing up there. Nothing. Maeda missing it. That just summed it up. Maeda's missing the 90th minute just summed it up because every time we wanted to go forward with it, and I was talking about it a minute ago, Lewis, side to side, there was nothing there. people say he does somebody in the box. There was nobody there. He does more a runner and fast paced. He wasn't really, you know what I mean? He can sort of do the kind of runs that into the box that we Kyogo would do, but no, I mean not compared to Kyogo. Do you know what I mean? But it's going to be a big summer of that. Big summer of players leaving. Lewis, I can see. It's obviously going to happen. It's going to. But we'll talk about that in a wee minute. But I want to talk about the pen. So that's what you're saying, Lewis. See about the penalties. Aberdeen, they put it through the power and the height. That's going to be a keeper every day of the week, right? Unless you're obviously Thibaut Courtois is the maybe likely one, maybe, right? Okay.
Yeah, like he's also like massive. Schmeichel, like he's tall, obviously, but he's not like the tallest goalkeeper around.
Aye, that's what I mean. If it, you know what I mean, you're not going to be saving them, and I don't get people saying, "Oh, you should have been saving them." I don't get it. Like, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because if you look like back at the Euros, for example, it was Jordan Pickford and Gianluigi Donnarumma. Donnarumma saved almost every England penalty. He's 6'5". Jordan Pickford was pretty good, but he just couldn't reach some of them, and he's 6'2". So even like small height differences make a big difference, especially for penalties.
I mean, you've seen that. I mean, it was crazy that the two penalties that we missed, McGregor and Johnson, they were both low and there were hardly any power on it. I mean, you think you'd learn from McGregor's first one, right? This guy's a decent keeper. Is it Mitov and goal? I think it is.
Yeah,
he's a big guy. He's a big guy. He's a big guy, right? Do you know what I mean? He's not going to let in a goal. He's not going to let in a penalty that's going rare. It's not going at speed. You saw Maeda's penalty that was lucky to go in. I nearly had a heart attack, by the way, that penalty. But I said at the start, the point of proving is Maeda's penalty in the cup final, that wasn't hit hard, but he was lucky, right? Because my Butland went the wrong way, but that was luck, right? Just put your boots for it. I don't understand players who like to do the Neymar route. Just put it in the back of the net. It's
like the little run-ups and the taps and everything.
Just put it in the back of the net. I don't understand. I just don't understand it.
And then the worst part is, I was curious because you see so often players completely mess it up. So I thought to myself, surely there must be a reason why they're doing that. And it is statistically the best way to score a penalty. But then, if you think about it, only the absolute best players are using that technique instead of people who, realistically, they're playing at Celtic's level for a reason and going to penalties against Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's not going to. Do you know what I mean? But, so, it was disappointing. We'll talk about the reaction. So, yeah, Rodgers got it wrong, right? Where did it go wrong? The substitutions in the 60th minute. We've had a couple of injuries. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's a total failure to adapt.
Yeah.
We saw it against Rangers multiple times, and now Aberdeen, as soon as a team starts to play on a bit of a forward foot, it's all over.
I know.
And then the thing is, we've seen that he can adapt before. Against Bayern Munich, we started playing the absolute most dreadful defensive football you could imagine. So it's not as if Rodgers can adapt, he just won't.
Yeah. I'm hoping in the summer we can change that up. I know he can. You know what I mean? And I think he can. And I think he'll get back in the summer. I think ideally, I mean, I'll ask you in a minute, Lewis, what would you like to see in the club? But ideally, you've got Tierney coming back, right? So that's a left back. You let Greg Taylor go. I imagine he'll go, right? I don't imagine he'll stay now. So you've probably done our left back in because Kieran Tierney won't play every match, right? So you're probably looking at another midfielder. Add what I'm out because Rio Tati, he's injured. He'll probably be back for pre-season if he stays. That's if he stays. If he doesn't, you're looking at a midfielder, a striker. I want a striker in because not only because if Dyson Maeda moves on, Ida has been he's been there, right? But I don't know. He's just been a disappointment this season. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what has happened to him. But he has scored good goals. Don't get me wrong. Important goals. Ibrox to go to get the draw, but he's just not been consistent enough. That's what I'm trying to put. He's not been consistent when Rodgers have given him a chance. And you saw how Maeda's just flourished. No way Ida's going to get in front of him. But also when Ida's had the chance, he's just not put it there. You know what I mean? I like Ida. I really want him to work, and I think he will. I just think, hopefully, he needs a good, get another pre-season. You know what I mean? Hopefully, I'm not excusing that, but hopefully maybe after the summer, maybe. But he
Yeah,
needs to come in
so
quick.
I'd say probably what the team needs the most is a backup striker for Maida,
Yep.
a backup centre back, because you cannot
Yeah.
be going in with Liam Scales
Oh,
as
no.
your only
Oh,
centre
don't.
back. Obviously, we need a backup left back for Tierney because he's
Yeah.
constantly injured.
Yeah.
A midfielder, and I'd take another winger. I'd sell Kuhn, cash in on his form because he's not continued
Well,
that great form all season. I'd
well,
cash in
speaking of,
on it
I've
and
seen
run with
that.
the money.
I seen that this morning actually. It's just when they scored 2 goals when we won the league at Tannadice the other week, right?
Mm,
It's just the crowd. It was like that because people, like talk, a celebration like, oh, stop talking
Yeah.
about my form, and then he doesn't turn up in the final. Where I don't know where he's went. By the way, his form's just
Yeah,
no.
so
You
I'd cash in.
you think like you would think by like if a team was interested in you, you think like right, I'm going to perform with my skin till the end of the season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
The thing
it's
is,
crazy.
he seemed to regain a bit of his form in the last
Yeah,
few
and
months.
then
He
just
started putting in again and then just stopped.
yeah, I don't know why. Maybe as a move, I don't know, but why it's so weird to just dip when you're if you're going on a move. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Also, talking about Jeffrey Slutless, there was talks on Sky Sports that Celtic are apparently going to open for a permanent deal, which is brilliant because the guy can't run the line for himself. I'm telling you right now. Oh, he's slowed
See,
right, but
yeah,
on
he's
you go.
slow, but I think he's decent enough considering how many options he can play. I mean, obviously, he's about as fast as a broken down fan, but I'd still take him.
Lewis, he can't play again. He wouldn't get a game against Livingston or Falkirk, or don't tell Livingston are back in the Premiership, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to
Plastic
break that
pitches are
news.
back.
I'm sorry. Freedom.
The medical teams
Kilmarnock.
are going to have to
Oh wait,
work
in
it out
fact,
for him.
4. Kilmarnock, Falkirk, Livy. No, am I talking rubbish? Is there 4 now? 3.
No, I
Aye,
think it's
3.
3.
Aye, right. Okay, 3 in.
The medical teams are going to be earning their wages in burnt knees, by the way.
He wouldn't get a game playing against Falkirk or something. He would get absolutely ran against. You've seen it. I mean, since he's come in, I thought he looks decent, and he's just slowed right down. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I'd take him as a backup purely because of how versatile he is.
I suppose I'll see it. I'll see. I don't know. I'll see.
Yeah. Oh, and then Scott Bain's away.
Oh,
He,
it's a sad time.
he confirmed that he's expiring his contract a year early. But guess who
Aye,
we're getting in as third goalkeeper? This will be
yeah,
exciting.
Ross Doohan from Aberdeen, who we just had like a couple of years ago or something.
Yeah, he's back with a reported 5-year contract on the table.
What, to sit on the bench?
To be third choice, I don't know if he'll get on the bench
Well,
with
in fact,
Sinisalo.
nah. Sinisal's going to be good. I feel it. He's good.
Yeah, I feel he'll take over for Schmeichel.
Yeah, he will. We'll be sitting here at the end of next season, Lewis. He'll be in goal.
Yeah, see, I backed him from the start. I've had a lot of bad calls. I still think Holmes is going to be the future of the midfield, by the way.
Well, speaking of that, Celtic are willing to sell Luis Palma, Lager Bielka. That's not a name you've heard in a while, Lewis.
Yeah.
Thiago. Sorry, not Holmes. Sorry. What do you call him? Marco Tilio, who was signed 2 years ago.
I forgot about him.
Weird, strange signing. Who else? I think that's it. So,
Yeah.
That's a lot of, I'm not saying debt, but that's just a lot of players going. So you're hoping with that money as well, if people buy them, obviously, we can get in there. I am not expecting, the big 11 million that we paid for Arnie Engels, you know what I mean? Well, he's linked with Atalanta, so God knows.
Yeah, to be fair, I think if there's any player we'd get for a lot of good money out of it, be him.
Yeah, I don't see him moving unless somebody comes in with 25 million. Then Jesus, you've got take your chance, Celtic. Take your chances there. But yeah, I also Matthias Christgarden obviously been linked once again. Lewis, Matthias Christgarden has been linked with Celtic, the striker. He has confirmed.
I'll be honest, I know almost nothing about him.
I only know we get linked with him every summer, Lewis. We get linked heavily about him last summer. Celtic weren't willing to pay fee. He's a really good striker. I think he plays. I don't know where he. I actually can't mind where he plays, but he's a really good striker. Well, what I saw, and Chris, but he's leaving the club this summer, so he is going to a club. Whether that be Celtic or not, I don't know. Right? Oh, he plays for Bromby. So, aye.
At least I've
So
heard of them before.
yeah, Bromby. Well, I think Rangers played them a few. Matthias, Chris. I don't even know how you spell his name, but I'm sure it'll come up. There we go. Aye, so he is leaving the club. He plays for. He's in the Danish league, so it's Bromley. He is a forward. So, he's only 27.
Yeah, only.
No, in fact, sorry, I counted that wrong.
How are you counting an age wrong? It's not exactly as if it's showing up one number at a time.
the date of birth got wrong. I was looking at a different page. The date of birth from it's 23. He is
see, that's
by
a
the way.
bit more understandable.
He's 5'8". So Bromby's been his club for about what's that now? Nearly. Oh, he was in the Bromby youth system and he moved to a couple of clubs. So he's been 20 from when he signed at Bromby, 97 appearances and 36 goals. So that'll be him leaving. So whether he'll be joining Celtic or not, he's been capped also for the Danish team under 18s, under 21s. But yeah, he looks okay. But he's been linked with Celtic.
Take him though? That's the question.
He's a good striker. Get goals in.
I would not.
No.
No, I think 5'8" in the Scottish Premiership as a striker. We need to be looking at the times of Lorenzo Luccia. He's 6'7" playing in the Serie A, and I'm telling you, he's going to be the best Italy forward in decades.
There you go. You heard it first. Clip that one. Frankfurt are interested in Chris Gordon as well, so we'll see how that one goes.
For the first time in a while, I'd like a big, tall, hard man up top for Celtic.
We don't really have that in the team, do we? Don't really have.
But Kyogo struggled against your Ross counties who are finally gone.
I know, sad times. Not. But what risk? What loss for bringing Livingston back?
Yeah. The Tony Macaroni's immortal, man.
That's not even called it Tony Macaroni anymore.
There's still the spaghetti head in my heart.
No, aye, fair enough. Everybody knows that is anyway. What was I going to say? Aye, we need some. You know what I mean? We need some. I don't like that. See, I don't know. Is that an unpopular football pick? I don't know. Is that something like that? See, in the derbies, Lewis, right? See, Rio Tati and that, they help the Rangers players back up to their feet. I'm like, why would you do that? It's a derby game. Why would you do that?
I'm afraid I'm going to start something like Sean Dyche at this rate. But it's everything. It's the commercialisation of the TV.
No, but
see, before it was all big on TV, you'd have players out there willing to kill each other.
Hi, Roy Keane.
It's just nonsense, and that's all I'll say.
We'll get a special guest on Dyche on. But I think we're about 24 minutes in now. I think we should get on to the next segment of the show, and it's Lewis's favourite, so let's get into it. It's halftime pie.
Yay.
Aye, a pie, aye.
Aye. We'll come back tomorrow and get it out of there.
That's right, halftime pie is back, and this week it is something new that I totally didn't take from anybody on TikTok, but everybody's doing it, so
I still have no idea what this is going to be, so this is a big surprise for us all here at the studio.
Right, so Lewis, on TikTok, you see people doing something called football tenable, so that the last 10 something. So, for example, if I was to say the last 10 clubs to win the Champions League, do you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Right? So, the question will be the last 10 goal scorers at Celtic Park, right? So, for example, if it was if the question was the last 10, if it was the last 10 teams to win the Champions League, number one would be last season's, right? And that would be 1 point, right? If you got number 10, you'd get obviously the most points, right? So what you're wanting to do, you're wanting to get, you obviously want to get all of them, right? That's the main of the game, right? So I'll obviously give you clues, right? So you've got lifelines, right? So I'll give you four, right? If you need more, I'll give you it, right? But you shouldn't, right? So, obviously, number one would be the most recent game we've had at Celtic Park, which was Trophy Day, right? Which you should know who scored, right? Because it was so great, right? So we can start off there. You can go anywhere you like. The last 10 games, no looking at your phone now, I can't tell, but whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I think
On you go.
big question though. Does this include the opposition? Or just Celtic players?
I've got it written. Would you? Oh, right. Okay. Does it include opposition goals? No, just Celtic
Yeah.
players. The last 10
Oh, that makes it a
Celtic.
lot harder.
The last 10. I'm not. This is a Celtic podcast, isn't it? No,
Right, okay, there's
that
no
might
need
be-
for that.
I didn't even mean that. I genuinely didn't. I pressed
language in the workplace.
I pressed it again. Sorry about that.
Damn.
I can play it again if you like.
No, I'm fine.
Right. What
Oh,
do you
no,
go
that's
with?
okay, right, that's fully thrown me off, man.
I didn't even mean that.
God, James
So-
Forrest. I know he scored recently.
Yep. Well, it was against St Mirren to make it 16 consecutive. Is that right? 16?
16 consecutive seasons scoring for Celtic.
Only one Jamesy Forrest. So, aye. So,
And then
who did we play before? I need to give away. Who did we play before St Mirren at Celtic Park?
I'll be honest, I don't even remember.
You don't need to know. You just need to get. I reckon you could guess goal scorers and you'd get it, and you just pick
Yeah,
up
there's
the
only
winners.
so many. I'm going to guess Dyson Maeda.
Yes. Would you
Then
guess
would
the team? No.
No, I'm not guessing a team.
Yes.
This is just goal scorers.
Yes.
I'm not being that specific.
It's tenable. It's not anything else. Yes.
Yeah.
He's number 8 on the.
next-
He's number 8 on the list, by the way. He's number 8.
Hmm.
So you've got 1 and
Next-
8.
Yeah, let me speak, man. Next, I'm going to guess Adam Ida.
Yep. He's number 3.
Then I'm going to guess, this might sound a bit crazy, I'm going to guess Yang.
Nope.
Damn it.
Nope.
The propaganda
He has scored
is-
away. Don't get me wrong. He has scored away, but he's not in the last 10.
Okay, so I'll start going for the more obvious options now.
Okay.
Nicholas Coon,
Yep. He's number 2.
Callum McGregor,
Yep. He's number 9.
Engels.
No.
Really? I thought for sure you would have scored a free kick in that time.
Yep.
I'm losing my mind here, oh my god.
The
Liam
pressure's got
Scales.
on you. No.
Seriously? This is ridiculous.
Pressure's got to you. Pressure's got to you.
It fully has.
There's still obvious ones in there.
Greg Taylor.
No. What?
I don't. Carter Vickers.
Yep, that was a screamer against Kilmarnock. Yep.
Yeah.
Number 5, that was.
Austin Trusty.
Nope.
Jeffrey Schlupp.
Nope. I don't even think he scored at Celtic Park.
I don't know if he scored for Celtic.
I think he did, but yeah, he did against St Mirren, but that was away from home. You've still got, I'd say you've still got obvious ones in there.
I don't know, I'm feeling like a bit of an idiot now.
Eh,
I don't say that if it's true.
there's still, yeah, I'd say obvious ones.
I don't know, I
Maybe
feel
one
as
you
if
may
I'm losing it.
There's still one you'd get. I think you should get a couple in it.
See, you saying that's just making it worse.
Yeah. You want a lifeline, do you?
Yeah, give me a lifeline.
You've still got a Japanese player in there, if that helps.
Oh, Hatate, I completely forgot
Yep.
about him.
So you're into 3 lifelines, yep. So Atati was number 4, so I'll tell you how many you've got. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and you've got number 8 and number 9. So you need number 6, number 7, and number 10.
Okay, so 10 would be the least recent.
Yep.
Okay, so I need to think back for that one.
Oh, he's just Googling, what was Celtic's 10th match?
I'm thinking, man. Nah, I've not got anything, man.
There's 2 Scottish players there.
Oh, McKellen, obviously.
Yep, that's number 10. That was against Raith Rovers in the Scottish Cup in February.
It's truly the hardest stuff
So-
around.
You have got 2 lifelines because I gave you that one. You've got another Scottish player in there. You've already said McGregor, McCowan.
And then I've already said Greg Taylor, so
Yep, Greg Taylor's not on the list. Who is the Scottish player?
it's going to end up being some youth player or something, and I'm just being
No.
an idiot.
No. He's been around for a while. His nickname is
Oh.
the Brick. Nickname's the Bricky.
That doesn't help at all. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that. I think you've made that up.
I've not. I'm.
You're sabotaging.
He goes through players like bricks. Like he's a defensive player.
I think I'm losing it. I genuinely cannot think.
He plays right back.
Oh my god, Anthony Ralston.
Jesus God.
Oh, if you ask me, I genuinely don't think I could ever recall a time he scored.
He scored against Kilmarnock the same game that Carter Vickers scored the Screamer, 12th of April.
Oh yeah, well obviously only one goal's going to really stick in my mind.
No, he scored against Kilmarnock at the start of the season, so as well. But I wouldn't be on it, obviously.
Yeah.
So you're missing number 7, and iconically, he wears the number 7 shirt.
See, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't know any player's shirt numbers, but it's Jota.
Oh, thank Jesus God for that. I genuinely thought you were going to say, I don't know, and I'd actually lose it. I mean, come on, you should, surely, the number 7 before that was Palmer, and then it was...
Yeah.
Whoa, I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm just really bad with shirt numbers specifically. I just can never remember them.
I think McCown's is 14. I think that's right. But yeah, aside from Lewis losing his marbles, I think he enjoyed that. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Probably next time we'll probably do one where Lewis can probably create one and I can do it. It doesn't matter. We can just set one up. That was quite easy to make. That was quite easy. That was good. But Lewis, let's talk about it while we are kind of at it. New size
court jester.
You feel like what?
I feel like the court jester, man.
Let's talk while we're at it. Livingston and Falkirk are in the Scottish Premiership for next season. So the Tony Macaronis, it was formerly called, and obviously Falkirk as well, who obviously will have Scott Arfield in their team for next season. I mean, you got to give it. It was fair play.
Yeah.
They did very well.
Yeah, and he was especially good for them this season. But I don't know if he can hack it at the top flight.
We'll have to see. Lewis. But do you know what? If it was somebody asked me who would I want in the league, Ross County or Livingston, I wanted Ross County to stay in the league.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I kind of like Ross County.
I know. David Martindale. Oh, jeez. Apparently he's came up with a new team. Apparently he plays. He doesn't. I watched the game. Oh. To be fair, what a comeback. Fair play to him for that.
Yeah.
What was that? 3-1 down in aggregate and they came back to 1-4-3. Fair play.
You can't slate the effort.
And the former Morton player scored the winner, Robbie Muirhead. What a goal, by the way. It looked like a one of them shots, it looks like it's a cross and it goes in the back of the neck. And I looked at that, but there was no way that was a cross because there was nobody there. But it wasn't that way where it kind of curved from a kind of cross. You know what I mean? It just looked that way, but it was a superb.
Yeah, that on your head is totally lost in the same things after having to play for Martindale.
Fair play to them, and they'll be playing in the Premiership next season. Obviously, Celtic will be playing them, so that'll be brilliant. As always, I think now I will get the Twitter questions up. And while that, I may as well ask you. There'll probably be a question on it, Lewis, but what is your plans for the summer?
I'll be honest, man. Not that much.
Not that much.
Nah.
Not that much, no.
No, it's better to be honest than to be a liar.
Right. Fair enough. That was Lewis's summer talk for you. So, what's your goals for the club next season, Lewis? What do you think Celtic should be doing next? Obviously, bear in mind we've got a Champions League qualifier.
Yeah, so I'd say treble and getting a bit further in the Champions League.
If we get in
which
the
I
Champions
feel
League.
as if every fan has said for the last decade.
If we get in the Champions League, don't count your chickens.
Or we could win the Europa League.
Well,
I think.
Big Ange has done it. Big
Or the
Ange.
Conference League, I would take that too.
Oh, I know. I'm not winning the Conference League, man. It's actual.
I don't know, it can't be that bad if Chelsea are in the final.
It's I don't know. It's just it's. What was I going
Also,
to
I
say?
like the colour green.
I will suppose it'd be nice, but oh, that's a good question. Obviously, Yakimakis was in question in the media this week, Lewis, after saying in an interview, he'd love to come back to Celtic. The question is, would you think he would struggle under Rodgers, but Ida would score? Do you think Yakimakis would struggle under Rodgers, and do you think Ida would score 30 plus goals under Ange? Is your question?
I think Yakimakis would do well under Rodgers. I think Ida would especially do well under Ange.
Mhm.
But I still wouldn't take Yakimakis back.
Yeah, I don't. I think his time's up. I think his time's past for
Yeah,
that.
especially the way he left the club.
Yeah,
just
I
don't
didn't
think
like it. Yeah,
he wants
Ange had
him
no.
back.
Yeah, Ange had nothing about it. Like Ange and that relationship was gone because of the way he spoke. You know what I mean? It's just not.
Yeah.
Ange knew. Ange was that type of guy. If you don't want to play for this club, you don't want to be here. Bye bye.
Yeah, and it's also not as if Yakimakis has lit the world up on fire over in Mexico. I think he's got 5 goal involvements in 16 matches or something.
He's
like
moved
that.
quite a lot since he's left Celtic.
Yeah.
Obviously, the MLS, Atalanta, and then moved the next season or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
and then so he's flopped to Mexico, and that is undeniably a worse league than the Scottish Premiership.
yeah. I hope you know what I'm talking about, Lewis. I know you might not, but obviously Clyde won Super Scoreboard. Hugh Keevans.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Obviously, they play a game and beat the pundit. How do you think you would do on it? We can sort of do that, but if we were
Yeah.
doing the sort of thing where somebody would come on the podcast and play you or me, how do you think you would do? Would you do the 10? Would you do the Hugh Keevans? Would you do the 10 on the questions? Do you think you would get the pressure?
I think I'd stand a fair enough chance depending on the topic.
Well, it's obviously going to be, it's just, I think more
Well,
the
it's
beat pundits
obviously-
the beat pundits just going to be general Scottish football questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to obviously bit what we do Celtic questions, but
Yeah. I think I'd stand a fair enough chance.
Against Hugh Keevans,
Well, I don't know about him. It's his whole job.
No, he's been in it a long time, Lewis. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
I think if it was just a random guy, I'd stand a better chance. I don't know about a professional.
I think you'd fight.
That's the big leagues.
Get Scotty McClue on here. Get him on here. Get him on. you know.
Yeah.
What's your highlight of the season? Also your low point. I'll let you answer first, Lewis.
I'd say highlight of the season is playing absolute terrorist ball against Bayern Munich. That was very fun. The low point of the season was also in that match when Davies scored a last minute winner.
Yeah, that was true heartbreak.
It should have had the lowest points and the absolute lowest points.
I'd probably give it a low point. Highest point, I think doing so well in the Champions League, Leipzig game. Oh, that was really good. I don't care what people say. Oh, Leipzig aren't the top team in the Champions League. Well, I mean, come on. I mean, they're still a good team. Do you know what I mean? The way we played that game by was outstanding because they were 1-0 up. They should have been 2-0 up, maybe. So that's a big question, by the way. With the summer window approaching,
actually, the low point could be the Aston Villa match.
That was just sad. We got 2-2.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. With the summer window approaching, could it be viewed as a smart to let some key players leave? If you remember, one of our major downfalls in the COVID season was that we held on to a squad that was past its sell-by. I think it's time for a bit of freshness. I agree with the freshness bit, but I wouldn't go like, oh, here, mate, I just go to the door. I wouldn't do that. If he wants to stay.
I don't think we can get rid of him. But I think there's quite a few players in the squad we could do with a bit of a fresher.
I think if an offer came in for the likes of the top players at 25 plus million, you've got to think, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't let him go for that, no. I wouldn't let him go for nothing, just let him go.
Yeah.
Do you think Kieran Tierney will take number 3 now that is looking Taylor's off, or back to number 63? Number 63, it's got to be.
Yeah, he probably will.
Yeah, it's got to be. That's a good one. Do you remember the goalkeeper Doris de Vries?
Oh, how could I forget him?
How many times would someone have to mention Doris de Vries to you in a day before it worried you? That's a good one. That's
I
worried me
think,
right away. Someone said
I
that to
think more than one mention of him, and I think, do I need to phone somebody to take you home?
me. Somebody's saying thoughts on Wham, George Michael, Jota. That's what I say.
Yeah, I don't think I actually have any opinion on it, to be honest.
Somebody said, would you like Ange winning the Europa League? Oh, top class.
Oh, worst final I've ever watched. Good
Yeah.
match, but horrendous final.
I don't encourage gambling, but good
But
bet on that.
it was absolute terrorist football from start to finish.
But do you know what? Tottenham won it. They won it. That's how you
Yeah,
win
I
it.
mean, yeah, that's all
Sometimes
that
how you have
matters.
to win it.
Yeah, that's
They've
all that
got to
matters. But like,
They've got to dust it. You've got to dust it down in the cabinet. Oof.
yeah, it was no fun to watch, but it was quite a good match. Also, I feel as if the camera crew need a bit of a shout out. There was some Man United fan who was like,
Oh my God, aye.
cheering, and then a few more minutes later, it's the camera constantly having tears.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah. Also,
Oh.
Alan McCoist wasn't bad on commentary that night. I'll give him that.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
I despise him on commentary. Not because he was Rangers. I just despise him, man.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty decent though that night.
He was okay. He was listenable. That's what I say. I hope these ones give us answers, please. So we're going on to the quiz, by the way. I'm just
Aye,
aye, don't you?
I'm on strike.
Aye, don't strike. Right. Okay. This is just a random Celtic. By the way, this is quite a nice one to end off the season. We're
not even making our own quizzes anymore.
The podcast is obviously going to be back, obviously probably pre-season wise, right? Okay, but
Yeah.
we'll probably still do wee videos, you know, about transfers and such. You know what I mean? We'll probably still, I was thinking of doing a good one that you know, rating the team as a whole. You know, me and you sit on here and we'll see a tier list thing and we rate players
Yeah.
for the season. We'll probably do that as well. We've not got enough time on the podcast to do it, but we'll do it as our own separate video and we'll bring it to you guys on the channel. So we'll get the countdown music on. There is 10 questions there, Lewis, but I don't imagine you'll get through them with this countdown clock.
Yeah, whatever.
So you have a minute on the clock. Are you ready, Lewis?
Yep, very.
Here we go. What's the name of Celtic's mascot? I've seen Celtic play their home games at Hampden. How much was the rent for the season? That much? $1,500,000 to £10 million a pound.
500,000.
Okay. Former Celtic legend John Hartson earned 51 caps for which country? Wales, Scotland, Singapore. Scotland.
Yeah, I'm just guessing.
I'm gonna play.
The music's a bit loud.
I had to play it loud. I can't hear it. I need to get new headphones.
Yeah, well, I can barely hear you.
Don't blame that on their defeat. Don't blame that. Right, so that one's kind of went a wee bit. That was a bit slow, that one. So I'm gonna do something on my phone to see if we get a better one, right? But Lewis,
absolutely not. We're not
from that one.
Quiz.
Not a quiz, right? We're not with it.
Absolutely not.
From that one, you got 2 right and 1 wrong. So that's decent. You only,
Yeah.
I mean, you got 1 wrong, which I get. You'd probably maybe think John Hartson was Scottish. He was Welsh. You know.
Yeah. I think actually for the quizzes, I think I have both the best, the joint best answer rate, and also the worst.
Yeah, you do. Surprisingly, you question. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
So
multi-dimensional performance.
We're going to play. Since it's the end of the season, we're going to play the big Scottish football quiz of the season.
This is going to be a disaster. And you've disappeared.
Yeah, I'm looking at my phone just to check it. Yep. Right, okay. Are you ready, Lewis? I'll not play the music, I don't think.
Yeah, considering I could barely hear you last time.
The music's only going to last for a minute, but I'll play it anyway because there's only 10 questions. There's only 10 questions. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, right.
So I can see the answers as well. So that's quick. I get it quicker. Okay, I'm going to do. Let's see this. Is that too loud? Hold on. Is that too loud?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, right. Your time starts now. Which of these Scottish League grounds is furthest north? Are Brough, Brecon, Forfar, or Montrose?
Montrose.
Who was the last team to win the Scottish Junior Cup that wasn't Auchinleck, Talbot, Pollock, Hullfield, or Glenafton?
Glenafton.
What did players made their senior Scotland debut first? David Weir, Craig Burley, or Colin Hendry?
Colin Hendry.
What? Willie Miller had his birthday on Saturday. What birthday did he celebrate? 60th or 65th?
65th.
Right, I'll keep playing the music. Who did Rangers beat in the quarter-final of the UEFA Cup final 2008 when they made the final? Sporting CP or Werder Bremen?
Werder Bremen.
Okay. Who's the only team apart from Hibs or Glasgow City to appear in the Women's Scottish Cup final? Motherwell, Celtic or Spartans?
Spartans, I think.
Who did Celtic sign Lee Griffiths from?
Wolves.
Yep. Who did Andy Robertson make his senior Scotland debut against? Czech Republic or Poland?
Oh, Czech Republic, I think.
Who's the name of the fictional Scottish football team in the film A Shot at Glory? Inverleven or Knocky FC?
The second one, that sounds
Okay.
more plausible for
Who
me.
won the first ever Scottish Challenge Cup in 1991? Dundee, Ayr or Hamilton?
Hamilton.
Okay. And last question. In 2016, Hibs became the second non-top flight side to win the Scottish Cup. Who were the first to do it? East Fife, Morton or Dunfermline?
I think it was East Fife.
Okay. I know that was the end. We call it end of the season. I know that quiz. Some of the questions were a bit like, the one. By the way, the one that said Willie Miller had his birthday. Obviously, he's a bit older now, but but it's the end of the season. It's a big general quiz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was not at all prepared for it to start asking about women's football, though.
That was a random question in there. Why not?
I suppose it's technically football. So.
Let's go through them. Which of these Scottish League grounds is furthest north? Brough, Brecon, Forfar or Montrose? You said Montrose. It was Brecon, so nothing so far.
Mm.
Who was the last team to win the Scottish Junior Cup? I nearly said Glentoran because that was the first kind of thing I seen. It's Glenafton. Did you hear? Why is my Discord popping up? But anyway,
I heard that.
Yes, Lewis, it was Glenafton. Which of these players senior debut? Which of these players made their senior Scotland debut first? David Weir, Craig Burley, Colin Hendry. It was Colin Hendry. Well done, Lewis. That's 2 for you. Willie Miller had his birthday, by the way. So I think, was that say 2020? So 2020. I just picked one, right? It's by the Scottish FA, so it couldn't be that. It wasn't that bad. The answer was 65. Lewis got it right. So was that 3?
Yeah, that's 3.
So it'd be 70 now, so happy birthday, Willie. Who did Rangers beat in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup in 2008? I mean, that's just a general question, so there's nothing wrong with that. You said Werder Bremen, It was Sporting CP. So you're still on, was that 3, Lewis, aye?
Yeah, 3.
Aye. Who is the only team apart from Hibs or Glasgow City to appear in the Women's Scottish Cup final since 2015? You said Spartans, it was Motherwell. So it's still 3. Who did Celtic sign Lee Griffiths from? It was Wolves. Well done. 4. Who did Andy Robertson make his senior Scotland debut against? It was Poland. You said Czech Republic. So you're still on 4. What was the name of the fictional Scottish team in the film A Shot at Glory? You said the second one, which was Kilknocky FC. Yes, well done. By the way,
I can't believe that. I've never seen that movie.
Who won the first ever Scottish Challenge Cup in 1991? You said Hamilton. It was Dundee. So you're currently on, was that 5?
Yeah.
In 2016, Hibs became the second non-top flight side to win the Scottish Cup. Who were the first? You said East Fife. You were correct. So that's 6 for you, Lewis. I am going to give you the chance. It will not affect your score if you don't get it right.
Mm.
Do you want to try and get 10? It will not affect your score. You've got 6 out of 10. Well done. do you want to go for the 10 on the questions I have left? May as well
No,
try
I
it. Come
think
on,
I'm
end of
happy
the
with
season.
the
Come on.
score.
What do you mean you're not losing any money? What you think? You've got your pride in winning.
No, I think I'll take what I've got and go home with it.
Nah, well, we're still doing it. You may as well do it, Lewis. It's,
Yeah, might as well.
you've got nothing to lose. Which of these? Right, so here we go. Which of these clubs has not won the Scottish Cup? Right, Renton, Vale of Leven, or Thorn Liebank?
I have not heard of any of them, so I'm going to go for the second one.
You're going for Vale of Leven.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, they have won the Scottish Cup. It was Thorn Liebank. So, well,
Yeah.
Lewis, at least you didn't lose any money because you
I
still got
just
your
want to
six.
think I like the name of.
You still got your six. So
Yeah.
the other questions were quite easy. To be honest, you could have got the rest. We'll base it on this. We'll base it on see which Scottish Premier side were the first to win the Scottish Cup. Hibs, Celtic, Rangers, or Kilmarnock. What was the first side to win the Scottish Cup?
Hibs.
Well done. Which of these players has been involved in the Scottish Cup final for the most different teams? Stephen Presley, Jamie McDonald, or Anthony Stokes?
Anthony Stokes.
I knew you were going to say him because you were probably thinking that's probably the only one I know. No, it's Stephen Presley.
Yeah.
Jamie McDonald, I remember him from Hearts. But yeah, I mean, there was one more question. That was the got to 10. What was the most goals in a losing side? What is the most goals in a losing side have scored in a Scottish Cup final? 3, 4, 5, or 6?
6.
When have you ever seen how
I don't know. Sometimes it's just the weirdest answers that end up being right.
No, it was free. It was free. But
That was what I thought.
anyway, that has been a season and a half. We've had some highs and lows on the channel and at Celtic. We've won the double again, the 55 now, the most successful team in Scotland, in the country. And we'll be back next season for it all again. Lewis, all next season. We'll be ready.
Actually, on that note, I viewed this like Rangers forum before because the takes on there were unhinged sometimes. And they went from their thing saying the most successful team in Scotland to just saying the most quintessentially British team in Scotland.
Typical, yeah. It's been a great season and great support on the channel again. We'll be back throughout the summer with videos like we discussed a minute ago. We're going to do a tier list and that'll be coming up probably next week. But we're going to do videos as soon as transfer hits the door. We'll be on We've got a good summer ahead for it, and also the podcast. We'll be back pre-season to discuss all it in depth.
And both of us now have significantly more free time.
Yeah, we probably do what we were planning on doing. Yeah,
because all I've really got now is college, and you've got your job.
And college after the summer, but that's not now. So yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. As always, please hit the like button, subscribe, follow all the socials to stay updated. And that's where we'll be posting, obviously, when we're going to be doing a video, obviously. Mostly on Twitter, guys. I post it on there just to give an update as well. But as I say, thanks to Lewis for coming on throughout the season. And we'll be back next season.